And we're back! Hello everyone! This is a Pacifist run analysis of Serious Sam 3's DLC expansion, Jewel of the Nile. I've explained the rules that I use for the Pacifist challenge many times before in my previous videos, so I'm going to forego an explanation here this time. But if you're new to the channel and would like to hear an in-depth reasoning on why I use the rules that I do, please give some of my earlier Serious Sam No Kills videos a watch. I will rapid fire through the rule set that I use real quickly here just for a reminder. The kill count must be 0 by the end of the stage, otherwise I go for as few kills as possible. Hurting enemies without killing them is okay. Cheats and console commands are not allowed. Quick saves and loads are allowed, and glitches are allowed as well. Also for this run today, I will be using Tourist difficulty. Jewel of the Nile is a small but excellent addition to the base campaign of Serious Sam 3, and features 3 levels full of carnage. But we don't want carnage. Ideally, we want all the enemies to survive. The total kill count across these 3 levels is 1,097. How many kills are necessary to beat the game? Let's find out. The first stage, Gathering of the Gods, was a very tricky level to attempt this challenge for. It's reminiscent of level 11, The Last Man on Earth, from the base campaign, in that the scenario demands that you run around disparate locations, gathering collectibles one at a time, and returning them to a central location. In this case, rather than collecting gas canisters and bringing them to a car, this level is actually slightly more convoluted. First, a set of keys must be collected. These unlock the underground section that hold the statue of the Egyptian goddess Isis. Once this statue is brought above ground to a central temple located near the middle of the island, a nearby shrine will reveal another statue, which in turn must be secured and returned to the central temple as well. This pattern then repeats 3 more times, with enemies spawning every time something is picked up or placed. The shrines spawn statues, and they get returned to the temple, until you have hoarded all 4 of them. The plinth holding the statue of Isis then retracts back into the ground and presents you with her seal, which you can then bring back to the underground section to unlock the exit door, behind which is an ending trigger which is only active once you possess the seal. So as you can see, we can't skip any steps. Gathering the collectibles is essential to finishing this level. I had one idea to attempt to bypass the sequence of triggers. For some reason, Serious Sam 3 stores its collectibles out of bounds until it needs to spawn them within the level. This is not unique to this stage. I believe that it occurs anywhere throughout Serious Sam 3 that has these purple outlined key items. In Gathering of the Gods, there was only one place to look, the far side of this rock, way out in the water. The statues and seal are indeed all here, and I'm showing you this area with cheats because I could not find any way to reach this place legitimately, although I got tantalizingly close, by finding a section of the rock where I could clip beneath the stage. I can see them from here, but alas, the items remain out of reach due to a massive invisible wall that surrounds the entire map and spans a good ways both up and down. So, we have a dead end as far as this idea is concerned. For the longest time, I was worried that the only strategy for this stage was to run and crouch boost between locations as fast as possible and just let the inevitable friendly fire kills rack up to the point where I was trying to beat the stage like this, with the painfully endless quick saves and loads that entails. But the earlier experiment where I discovered that I could clip out of the rock was a bigger find than I had thought at the time. With more testing, I found that I could swim back towards the island once I was under the level, and I could remain there and explore beneath the level. I had discounted this when I had first found it because there is a sizable section near the middle that is inaccessible since the water vertically ends and drops into an infinite void that after a few seconds teleports you back to your last checkpoint. And when you're swimming like this, the floor geometry is too high in most places to jump back into the play area anyway, so this discovery, though neat, seemed to have no utility. The water turned out to be a game changer though, since when you're swimming, enemies will not follow you, aside from the junior arachnoids, but we will get to that. They will just stand on the shore and watch you, but they will still attempt to shoot at you if you are in their line of sight, and this can be a pretty serious hazard to your Pacifist run, since it can result in friendly fire kills, especially later on once major biomechanoids spawn. There's also a variation of swimming out of bounds that I found. If you carefully descend to the bottom of the water's clipping plane like this, the game will consider you to be out of bounds while you're in a swimming animation. Like I said before, if you spend a couple of seconds out of bounds, the game will teleport you back to your previous chapter's starting location. So if you start the level and do this, you'll be teleported into the ground while swimming. You can only move around by strafing. Swimming forwards or backwards will clip you back to the top of the ground. Enemies won't react to you when you're in the ground, and it's possible to collect the key like this. But then the chapter ID will change, and this glitch will become kinda useless since it won't move you into the ground enough at this new location when you teleport from out of bounds. If only this could be combined with the other glitch while under the island. I found it totally by accident, and it took an evening of experimentation to replicate and understand. I discovered that if you swim sideways into the void, where the vertical plane of the water ends while submerged, you will begin swimming in that previously inaccessible void. This was the breakthrough that I needed. The only restrictions to the trick are 1. You can't float downwards, and you can only move using the strafe key. And 2. The game will still count you as out of bounds in this state, and will teleport you back to the chapter start, so as soon as possible, move upwards using the jump key, and get a bit closer to the bottom of the ground to fool the game. So, now we have all the tools we need to beat the stage. Let's start. I begin by simply skirting the edge of the island to the keys, and then running to the underground section to grab the statue of Isis. I just try and avoid kamikazes and the rocketeers as best I can, reloading a save when necessary. You can tell that an enemy has died when the score counter has incremented. I return to the surface and plunge right into the water, making a beeline for the glitchy rock. Swim beneath the level, grab the secret rocket launcher, which, do note, will increase your score counter, but nothing has died as you can see. And navigate to this area to start swimming in the void. Go to the temple to place Isis on her plinth. This will spawn enemies as well as the Hathor statue, so still under the level, I navigate over to the shrine and surface nearby to grab it as fast as I can while making a run to the water. The only strategy I use here is to avoid swimming too far out into the water, tempting as it is, since unlike the other enemies, the junior arachnoids will follow you into the liquid, and they will then drown, which of course makes the kill counter go up. I also use a rocket boost to get to the opposite side of the island. It's a useful tactic in this stage to put some quick distance between yourself and the enemies. I return to the glitch rock, and once more I swim into the void to place the statue. Strangely, the pedestals are pretty generous when it comes to the distance that you can place items at. Picking them up is a lot more strict though, as you will see. Next, the statue of Aaron Snoofus appears. Since I am still under the stage, I just swim over. If you happen to not be low enough beneath the ground to go under the walls surrounding the statue, just emerge in the stage, go back to the glitch rock, and try again. Normally, when you pick this statue up, a force field spawns around the immediate area, requiring you to engage in a brief firefight before progressing. Obviously, I want to avoid that, and I do that by raising myself up into the wall here, and moving ever so slightly toward the statue, and picking it up while remaining in the wall. During this recording, the scrapjack was annoyingly close to me, so it took several tries until I made it to the water without killing anything. Eventually, I got lucky, swam to the glitch rock again, and did another void swim to place the statue. Now it's the statue of Horus. I swim glide out of the temple around the middle here, making sure I'm high enough that the level doesn't teleport me away. Collecting this statue also spawns a force field. To get around that, I move into the wall of this shrine from the side, and carefully pick it up while in the wall, just like the previous statue. Now you can once more retreat into the water, reloading as necessary if kills occur, and then repeat the glitch rock void swim trick to place the statue. The last statue, Osiris, gave me the most trouble during this recording. There were just too many enemies around the shrine, and while I could surface and pick it up just fine, trying to run into the water without anything dying just wasn't working out since the major biomechanoids shot rockets at everything, and the werebull also tended to follow me into the water and drown. To get around this, I had to return to the glitch rock, swim under the level, and jump around, getting the enemy's attention and manipulating them to move away from the shrine. It took a little bit of luck, but I finally managed to grab the statue, return to the water without anything dying, and then place it with the Void Swim glitch. Now, finally, the Seal of Isis, our salvation in this level, spawns. You can't grab it from under the stage, so you must first surface, grab it, and then make one last harrowing run to the underground, crossing your fingers that nothing dies in the meanwhile.
What kind of stone closet just rose up out of the floor?
That's the Seal of Isis. It should unlock the door to the next chamber.
With just a touch of luck, combined with this strategy which minimizes a lot of the RNG, Gathering of the Gods can surprisingly be beaten with 0 kills out of 264. Also, congratulations to everyone who guessed correctly on the poll. Together Forever is thankfully much more straightforward than level 1. You only need to collect one statue before the exit trigger becomes enabled, and the only thing you need to put to the test here is your rocket jumping skills. So, begin by ignoring the whole level ahead of you and swimming over to this cliffside across the water. You need to do one of those rocket jumps where you hold forward and snap upwards. It's annoyingly precise, but it shouldn't take too long to reach the top of the ledge without dying. This area is out of bounds, so it's safe, but we need to go higher, so do a normal rocket jump off this edge. The slope should boost you right onto the top of the cliffs. Up here, there are ice physics for some reason. Slip and slide down the sunroof, and you can pick up the required statue. We need to do another precise rocket jump off of this wall to return to the top of the cliffs. This skips some spawners, and now we can go to the exit. Go over to the ridge and back down this cliff. Some enemies will appear in the distance, but they are too far away to cause you any trouble. This temple opening is nearby. Once you enter, a cutscene will begin that ends this level with 0 kills out of 439.
Come to Papa.
Born Again seems like an open level, but looks can be deceiving. The thing is, you are meant to obtain a jetpack early into the level, so to prevent you from easily breaking out of bounds and sequence breaking, the cliff walls are not only high, but they're also surrounded by a big pushback field. As far as I can tell, no amount of rocket jumping will get you out of bounds here, so let's progress through the level somewhat normally for a bit. I take a sharp left right out of the cave and do a boost off of one of the palm trees to reach a higher point. Reptiloids will begin firing at you, but ignore them. Do another boost, lower this time to reach the far side of the bridge. Falling off the bridge almost anywhere seems to kill you, except for this area right near the edge. Perhaps it's due to the unorthodox method of getting here, but enemies seem to not spawn in this area, which is pretty welcome. To progress now, we must cross the dam. Like everywhere else, it's surrounded by invisible walls, so there's no sequence breaking here. We need the keycard to access the maintenance tunnels, so I go grab that using rocket jumps, since we don't have or need the jetpack. Strangely enough, grabbing the keycard doesn't spawn anything, so return to the dam and boost again to reach the maintenance hatch. Once you emerge on the other side of the dam, you will be confronted by a canyon pass, where you are meant to engage in an intense and epic battle as you make your way to the final arena. And to prevent you from skipping it, there are more invisible walls all along the valley. I only found one way to break out of this section and skip the fighting. First, turn around, and a boost will return us to the water pool after the dam wall. And from there, I rocket jump while holding forward to reach the top of the left side of the dam. One more jump off this edge of the wall will propel us on top of the canyon walls. Now if I run along the side, I can finally reach an area that will let me cross all the invisible barriers. I did have to hang around for a minute up here and let my health regenerate so that I could survive the fall to the lower portion of the level. We are really close to the end now, and this is the final arena. To activate the ending, we must reach a tomb, which will spawn the final boss. Staying out of bounds, I run around the edge of the arena to avoid spawners. As I approached this place behind the tomb, a scrapjack started firing at me. I don't know if I somehow touched a spawner, or if it's always here, but he's pretty harmless all by himself. Grab the keys, enter the tomb, skip the cutscene, and now we can fight Ra Loom, the imposing prototype. Grab some C4 from the crate to your left and start throwing it at the boss as quickly as possible. It is very weak to C4, so you should be able to finish it off very quickly before anything else spawns. Like Serious Sam 3, I checked the stats screen during the ending cutscene, proving that since the boss is the only required kill to beat this level, and by extension the whole DLC campaign, the kill count will only ever increment by 1, meaning that our final tally comes out to 1 kill out of 1097. True, it is only 3 levels long, but this means that Jewel of the Nile, along with First Encounter, are the only 2 Serious Sam games so far to be definitively solved, which is very cool. Thank you for watching this Pacifist challenge. Let me know in the comments if you discover any improvements, or if you attempt to run yourself, I'd love to hear about it. Take care, and until next time.